Hey guys, it's Sarah here with my service dog Bailey. Um, and I just wanted to talk through something and kind of have like a sit down and chat kind of video because I've been processing a lot recently. And I know a lot of people have too. And I think this would be a nice space for people to discuss and process together. And kind of come together and support each other. So for those of you who don't know, um, okay, Bailey, Jaquie Beckwith or Chronically Jaquie, I'll link her below, recently passed away. And part of the reason why it's such a shock is because it did happen so suddenly, because she was doing better. Her symptoms seemed to be better and under control. She wasn't malnourished anymore. She was eating. Her pain was like, she was finding some sort of solution to a lot of her symptoms. But hello. But life is fragile, and I think my understanding of it, which I'm not a spokesperson for her family, this is just what I've come to understand. Her body somehow felt it was healthy enough or stable enough or something, and she had a period for the first time in a long time, and it seemed to trigger a flare-up that put her in the hospital right as they were closing for their first house. And some sort of complication happened that resulted in her losing her life. And it's terrifying to think that things can go so bad so fast. And it's terrifying to think that this beautiful girl who was so happy and full of life, and her mantra was like, keep moving forward. Like, she just was trying to keep going and stay strong and resilient. And for it all to be gone so quickly, I think is very shocking. When I found out, I was like scrolling through Facebook in the middle of a student center, and I saw it, and I started to like be like, no, there's no way, this can't be happening. Like, someone hacked their account. Like, this has to be a lie. This can't be real. And then as I like started looking at more and more comments, and more and more people were confirming it, it was there was like a numbness that took over me, and I just kind of like came home and cried for a couple of hours and just kind of like tried really to process what death means. And I think it's a really hard thing to do. And I like took breaks from a couple things. I canceled some meetings. I didn't go to class. I had to go to an interview that day, which really sucked. But sometimes you need to take time to process and take care of yourself. And one of the things that made that more difficult, I think, and what a lot of people are struggling with, is the fact that you can not know someone physically and still feel pain and grieve from their loss. We were right there by her side when they like got married, and when major life events happened, and especially with her death coming so soon after she and Judd closed on their first house. It's just very eye-opening and jarring and shocking and so many adjectives. The fact that life is so fleeting, and And I think it's given me a greater appreciation of what human life is and how beautiful it is, and what it means to value life, because it really is delicate. But it's also made me reflect kind of on resiliency, and how we can move forward, and how I've seen the community really come together. And I personally wasn't aware that there was any controversy about Jaquie, and apparently there was, but the community at large has been extremely respectful and honoring of her life, and really, understanding that people are in pain, and pain isn't a contest, and that, while we may not be her friends and family, like physically, and have had that kind of relationship, there is some sort of relationship to being a part of someone's life, even virtually. And it is like losing a friend, and it's tragic, and it's painful, and it takes a lot of time to process and grieve and heal. And I think I'm trying to just take this as a moment to be resilient, and for the community to bounce back, and live life the way she would have wanted, because Jaquie always said, like, keep moving forward and keep going, and talking about finding happiness in the face of adversity, and really living life to the fullest, and working hard to do what you can to make your situation better. And there's so many life lessons that I learned from her. There's so many people. She was a vital part in them adding certain care things or treatments to their treatment plans, or people's decisions of getting a service animal, or helping them train, even their pets, with some of her training videos, or understand an illness, or even just learn more and be a better human, and understanding some of the struggles that people go through. And we lost a beautiful shining light. And so I think this is the time for us to come together and talk about healthy ways of processing grief, and really celebrating her life, because Jaquie meant so much to me, and she meant so much to the community, and a lot of people are hurting. And there's a couple things that happen when a lot of people are hurting, or that could happen. It could be really negative, and people could lash out, or we could just wallow, or we can really come together and support each other and make something more beautiful than this situation we've been dealt. Because the service dog community, with all of its faults, is still a beautiful community, and we can still come together and support each other in times of hardship, and also really work together to grow together, and make sure we're all supported, because I know, the people nearest and dearest to me, they didn't watch her videos with me. They didn't know all about her. Like, sometimes I would chat with maybe my partner about it, but it's hard to process with people who don't know exactly where you're coming from. And what's beautiful about the family that kind of Jaquie created online is that we do have an idea of where each other are coming from, and no experience is exactly the same as another, but we can rely on each other, and I think she would want us to. And I know a lot of people have different religious beliefs about what happens when you die and what death means. And I've been reflecting on that a lot because I'm not personally religious. You know, I've had to come to terms with, like, what do I think happens when we die? What do I think? What do I think is the next step? Is there a next step? And Jaquie believed in God, and Judd, I believe in his post about it, said that heaven had another angel join it, and I think that's a really beautiful way to think about it. And if that's something that helps people cope with it and better understand it, then that's something that people should use. And if faith isn't something that's strong to you and you don't want to, you know, figure out what you think happens, that's okay too. Because we all have our different ways of kind of understanding death and what it means and what happens. And if processing it in a religious way is what you do, that's okay. And if processing it in a different way is what you do, that's also okay. The biggest thing is that we're taking care of ourselves and that we're growing from this. And that we're really respecting Jaquie's memory and her life. And so yeah, this is kind of getting rambly, but I'm just kind of processing still. It's been a few days. As I'm filming this, it's been a few days since Jaquie passed away, and I'm still processing. I think I'll be processing for a while. I think loss is something that stays with us, but the way we experience loss over time changes. And all of my positive thoughts go out to Jaquie's family and close friends and everyone hurting from her loss. And I hope that we can just come together as community, comment down below, or like have some sort of discussion about what she meant to you and how you're processing it, and like making sure that we're keeping each other safe and we're keeping each other supported, because this is a tough thing to process on your own. So thank you for watching. This kind of feels like an inappropriate video to ask people to subscribe in, but please go ahead and use the comments below to chat and talk with other people about what she meant to you and what this whole experience has been like for you, because for me at least, processing with other people is a really good way of getting things out and of healing. So yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks. Bye. And Bailey says goodbye too. She's just lying on my lap.